Hello and welcome to Midnight Scribe's Creative Vibes, where we speak to the best of the bronies and discover what makes them tick. Fillies and gentlecoats. What in Celestia's name is going on with all these clowns? They're popping up everywhere and being a right nuisance. Now, somewhere there is a Russian state circus that's got a really minimalist show going on, just one elephant eating a bun for 2 hours and the crowd going, "Where are the clowns?" It's all old news for me, though. I've been a clown for years. Though with all the recent hullabaloo that's been going on, I thought it'd be a wise idea for me to take off the makeup. And annoyingly, nobody could tell the difference. So, while I recover from that slight, we have a great guest on Creative Vibes today, who has the approval of Mr. Fluffybutt himself, Tyandaga, my Canadian cousin. If you've seen his videos, you'll have seen some of the great art my guest has been working on. It is a delight to welcome Krofty Fennec to the show. Krofty, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks. That was a very weird introduction mentioning a clown star.
I know, I feel like I had to mention it. When I was writing the intro, I thought, what is going on that would be interesting to talk about? And I thought, well, I'm a clown. There are clowns going on. That seems interesting enough. Because it's such a weird thing that's going on right now with all these clowns popping up everywhere. I reckon it's Pinkie Pie and some experiment that's gone horribly wrong with Sakura.
Oh, well, that seems tragic, but last time I checked, we don't live in a world where horses talk.
That is true. We don't live in one where horses talk, but we do live in one where ponies talk. Maybe. Possibly. Or am I getting confused between worlds? Hmm.
Perhaps confused, but ponies are just horses that don't reach 140 in height.
That is actually a good way of looking at it. Hmm. Now, you see, I've never thought about that way before. Hmm.
It is. They even share scientific name, but we're not here to discuss biology.
No, we're not here to talk about biology. We are here to talk about you. And first thing we've got to talk about is the fact that you have actually done art for my brother from Canada, Tyandaga, or as I like to call him, Mr. Fluffybutt. And you've done artwork for his YouTube thumbnail and for some of his videos. And you've done actually quite a lot of art for my reindeer-loving Canadian brethren. How did that all come about?
Actually, back when I was like, okay, I don't consider myself a brony anymore, but I was still watching some YouTube videos. Was like, hey, this guy's real cool. So I just kind of messaged him. I made a sketch of him, a fan art, and maybe he can find it for you. He was really impressed, and we started talking. And one day he was like, hey, you open for commissions? Like, of course. And he commissioned his first thumbnail for me, which is for his Undertale review video. And he's been using me for the thumbnails ever since.
And the beginning of a very fruitful friendship and collaborative relationship then.
Yeah, definitely. He says he feels really comfortable because I'm not only an artist, but his actual friend, so he can discuss the commissions really openly with me.
Oh, well, that's good. It's great when you're able to have that relationship with a fellow creator, particularly someone as great as Tyandaga. I mean, I remember interviewing him back in the first season when I first met him, and he is an incredibly personable guy, lovely to talk to. I absolutely love him to bits. I mean, despite the fact I call him Mr. Fluffybutt, which he isn't the biggest fan of, but I hold nothing but love for him. He's a great guy, and I want to ask. I mean, because obviously you've been doing art for him, but I'm also aware that some people seem to be a little bit confused about who you are.
And with some, you mean about 4 people a week in DeviantArt. You see, I used to only have a Tumblr on a Furry affinity when it came to my art because I'm more important in the furry community than the brony one. But Tyndaga was like, hey, open a DeviantArt because that's the way you're going to get bronies thrown into you. And I definitely did, but somehow they kind of skipped the fact that my DeviantArt name is Krofty Fennec, and that in all the Tyndaga drawings, I tag him in the description saying, hey, it's a commission for this guy. I keep getting people who think I'm actually Tyandaga. I'm very confused at how that is supposed to work, and how they're able to confuse me, but like to confuse me for him. But it happens quite often, and it gets to the point where they're like, "Oh, you're Ty," and like, "No, okay, I have no interest in you anymore."
And the thing is as well is that it's not like you both have pony OCs. It's not like you're or even similar names. He's a reindeer for goodness sake. It's not like
What?
it's a
I'm not even intelligent in Equestria.
That's the thing. It's like, what on earth is like, I mean, obviously they must be coming onto your page, seeing the art, seeing it's from Tiny Dagger's videos, and putting the wrong two bits together. But it is a bit amazing that they could go. reindeer, fox, Tyandaga, Krofty, Fennec, same person.
They're both quadrupeds. They must be the same person.
They have to be. They must be the same person. But in terms of doing art for the Brony community, I mean, you were saying how you wanted to, get into that community a little bit more, at least in terms of doing artwork for the show and whatnot, or for people who love the show, I should say. Are there particular people, artists in or out of the community that you'd be interested in collaborating with, or?
Well, I don't really know much people by name, and as of now, my Brony interactions have not gone further than Tyandaga. A lot of Bronies certainly wanted to commission me, but they did at the very time I broke my fingers, like less than a month ago, and I had to turn them all down until I was healed, which I am right now. But I actually haven't gotten any word back to them, so that's sort of my fault.
Well, it's not your fault that you broke your hand. I mean, I hope it isn't your fault.
Well, I'm really bad at basketball. We can like scratch that out of my wish list.
You play basketball as well, right? You and Tyandaga clearly have a lot more in common because he's a big basketball fiend as well. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, and I'm also in Canada, so there's that.
And are you sure you're not Tyandaga? Are you sure it's not just like some sort of split personality things happened and it turns out actually you really are Tyandaga, you just don't know it yet?
You see, every time a full moon comes by, my antlers shed and I become a Fennec, and that's the way it works.
Ah. Ladies and gentlemen, be careful. There could be a Fennec about when Tyandaga is missing.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you what, actually, you mentioned earlier on, I mean, we know you're interested in sort of doing a little bit more in the Brony community, but I know that you're also a big part of the furry community, and you've done quite a lot of furry art pieces in the past and nowadays, and a bit of a giveaway because then your name is Krofty Fennec and your OC is a fox. It's not it's not hidden.
Yeah, it's definitely not a secret, and I am way more noticeable for furries than I am for bronies, especially since, well, something I noticed very different is furries have a very big passion for anybody who can bring the characters to life. So it's actually a very good place to be a freelance artist. And there's also a very big culture of keeping the artist signature or like letting people know who made it. I'm not saying that bronies like are against that, but to my experience, a lot of brony art just gets reposted around without people really knowing who made it, and I find it actually quite harder for people to get back to me, especially when they seem to think I'm a reindeer as well. That also doesn't help a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't help that they think that you're, the person you make the artwork for. And yeah, in terms of the what's the word, crediting artists, I've seen a few cases recently myself in the community where particularly on the new Equestria Amino app,
Oh yeah, I've
does it,
heard about it.
yeah, like I don't know how to explain this app to people who don't have it, but it's like just like a small micro community for things that you love. So like there's an equestrian app where people post up images they've been doing, kind of like a sort of very mini Facebook for different communities. And I know there was some artwork drama there not long after it started. They'd been nicking artwork, or I say people who'd been uploading onto the site had been nicking artwork from other artists, and it's a shame that happens. But but at least that's slowly getting resolved. But what is it like being a part of the furry community, and how did you actually first become a part of it?
Okay, I was 13. I was like, this is so sick. How could anybody like it? And oh, well, I like it. But yeah, after that, I'm like, okay, it's actually really fun to put anthropomorphism into animals. And I started with a Tumblr account. Like, oh, I don't think much people are really going to follow me. Then I met a guy called Techie, which, blessings to him, he's not on the internet anymore for reasons I can't mention. But I made some artwork for him. He shared it, and he was really popular. And then people started to notice me. So my Tumblr grew a lot, and I eventually opened up for Affinity. And that's pretty much it. Then I started to do some simple commissions. The word started to get from ear to ear, like, hey, this guy's really good. You should commission him. And that's about my growth path. But actually, something else came to my mind. When you said being confused for the person I do art for, think because it's commissioning so common in the furry community, that's the exact reason why it can't happen to me as a furry, but it definitely happens to me as a brony.
And so, what are the best parts then of you kind of lightly touched on one or two bits there, but what are the best parts you find of being a part of the furry community, and what do you reckon are the kind of the best similarities between the two groups? Because I know there's a bit of an overlap between people who are bronies and people who are furries.
Well, if you think about it, ponies in MLP are actually anthropomorphized animals anyway. So there's a lot of furries that share a liking for MLP, even though there's a lot of bronies who will never think of calling themselves furries. And it's kind of fun because I don't actually consider myself a brony, even though I have enjoyment for the show. Um, when it comes to similarities, there's obviously the fanatism for the anthropomorphic animals, even though in MLP it's a very different way to anthropomorphize them. And I guess I also see quite some commission culture going on in the brony community. There's way more adopts with bronies. Like, hey, I take this pony as your own character than I see with furries. I can definitely tell you that. Yeah, adoptables are not as common in the furry community that I've seen. But another thing is bronies are based around a show, aren't they? While furries are based around a fairly old idea. So furries have been around officially for about 30 years. I think there's a lot more freedom in what people can do with furry art than they can do with brony art, because brony art is already like kind of has a mod of its own universe. So when it comes to art communities, I will say that's the main difference. One has already a very solid source. So sorry, I totally mispronounced that.
No, no, listen, don't worry. I'm Scottish. It is my role to not be able to speak English properly, so do not worry about that. I will cover up. If any mistakes you make, I will be far, far worse. So do not
Okay.
worry there. But I tell you what, there, because you were talking there. I mean, the commission. It seems like commission work in the furry community seems to be quite a strong thing. In terms of like the communal aspect as well. And obviously for artists. Getting commissions allows for sort of self-sufficiency and financial freedom. For yourself, like, how did you start getting into commissions? Like, do you remember the first piece you did, and what are the best and worst aspects of being a commissioned artist on the web?
Okay, the first piece I ever commissioned was actually a pony piece, which is quite funny. But after that, I was like, oh, I can actually get quite some good money from this. I did my first commission when I was 14, and I wouldn't say I'm proud of how it looks now, but then again, it was only $10, so I guess it deserved it. Um, Then I did some commissions for some friends of mine who were furries, and they wanted some art of There are couples who want some art of themselves, and that's when I started opening my website, my Tumblr, and then my Fur Affinity, so people could actually come and see my art. Then again, it just became a matter of me being open or not for commissions, and if people want to contact you, if you're interesting enough. When it comes to the downside of being a freelance artist on the internet, I can definitely say communication is a very big problem, because there's some people who do a wonderful job telling you what they want, but there's people who leave such a vague description of what they're looking for that you have to constantly be asking questions to them like, hey, so what's your eye color? Because you didn't tell me that. And they can take ages to reply. But then there's the ones that communicate a little too much. I have people who want an update like every 2 hours. Even though you've seen me drawing and I'm quite fast, I'm fast with doodles. But doing a full piece is a completely different thing. And asking for it every 2 hours, so it's only going to make me rush and do a bad quality work. So yeah, communication is very, very easy thing to screw up when it comes to having an artist working for you. Screw up a bad word in this, I don't know, I'm sorry.
There's absolutely nothing to worry about in this show. Like I said, it is not a place to be worried about. If anyone makes any errors, we delete. Listen, if it wasn't for Sugar Dove, I would sound like an idiot in every single episode. She makes me sound good.
That's very nice of her.
It's quite nice of her. I mean, to be fair, we do have 20 plus years of friendship, so I would like to think that she would be on my side. Well, I'll tell you what, actually going back to the furry side of things there, I do actually know that while you're working on your commission pieces just now, I know that you're actually preparing for a convention in 2017.
Oh, did I say 2017?
What's that?
Oh no, yeah, it's totally 2017. Yeah, preparing for a 2017. The thing is, there's another convention coming up, but I'm not miking into that one
Ah, right.
because I'm still a high school student, and I have responsibilities when it comes to my wonderful school. So yeah, I'm not making to any 2016 convention, but in 2017 I'm going to one on March, and I have my own table, so I'm very excited for it. But I have 16 commissions queued that I guess I could do in 16 days if I want to do a bad job, because I actually would like to take myself like 3 days in some of them to make sure I have quality. And the reason that's frustrating is because I want to do a lot of original pieces for the convention, a lot of prints that I can sell there. And I'm not finding the time to make personal art with all the queue that's going on already.
Yeah, so just trying to find that sort of that balance between the paid work that you've got to get done and artwork that you're wanting to get done for, for the convention and for personal use as well, I imagine.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people can get really pissed from my experience if you're working on personal art while you have commissions on the wait.
Yeah, I do know that a few people, like I've heard of people who have commissioned artists who tend to get very annoyed, and it is very unreasonable. This idea that I understand the concept of you paid an artist to do a piece, but that's not they're not exclusively working on that. You're working on average commissions. You've got your own pieces to do. It's not just working on one piece, is it?
Exactly. Thank you. I really needed that.
Hey, listen, look, I've throughout doing the show, like before I started Creative Vibes, I didn't know much about the about art, or about the creative side of things. When I started the show, I got the opportunity to meet artists throughout the community and begin to get an idea of, well, firstly, what it's like to actually do art on a daily basis, because I don't do art. I'm useless with pen and paper. Don't even try and pass one to me. But I've seen the the highs of people when they artists when they're creating, but also all these different struggles that seem to come up, either from commissioners who are being unreasonable, communication issues like you were saying, time frame, trying to work things towards different conventions, different dates. It's a lot for any artist to juggle, and it's considering the fact that you're also actually on top of all that, you're in education right now, you're trying to balance those books as well. It's a lot to juggle, and judging by the artwork you've done, you've seemed to have found a pretty good balance for it.
Thanks. But actually, a lot of them I guess I finished quite quickly. You've seen my speed, and this sounds almost improbable if you're not watching my screen, which you're not. But well, you already know it's possible. I've doodled about 15 ponies since we started talking.
Yeah, he is extremely fast. I kid you not, guys. Before we started recording, while we were doing a sort of pre-chat, he actually drew a very quick redrawing of Midnight Scribe of moi, and yeah, he got through that faster than I can get through Night 4 of Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, which gives you an idea of how good he is. Well, while you've been working on your art, I know that you've recently actually moved to Canada. Now,
Yes.
did you move to be closer to Ty?
Not at all. We're in completely opposite sides of the country.
Yeah, no, I know you're quite a bit away. Actually, I will actually I do admit actually before we did this interview, I actually had a wee chat with Ty just to go, right, can you give me the dirt on Krofty? Tell me what I need to ask him. I need questions. You know him better than anyone else I know. And he told me about that, and he actually asked me to ask you a question personally from him,
Okay.
which is actually I've got it here because I've been speaking to my sources. Apparently, you're really into dinosaurs. What's your favorite?
Oh wow. Okay. Wow. That you're bringing that up, Ty. I'm going to search for your address, and we're gonna have to have a talk. But anyway, I guess my favorite dinosaur would be Dakota Raptor, which was actually just recently discovered, maybe like in the last 3 years is when we have information about him. I don't know I don't know how long ago did they like actually publish papers on it. But when it comes to dinosaurs, I guess yes, I really love them, but I love them as much as I love any animal. The thing is, what I don't like is people mistaking them for what they look like in Jurassic Park. It's like those are not dinosaurs; those are wannabe monitor lizard on steroids. Where are the feathers? So whenever somebody brings dinosaurs up, although a lot of times it's me, I can't help myself to just say like, "Hey, you have your dinosaurs wrong." But yeah, the Raptor will be my favorite dinosaur.
So I'm guessing you find it quite hard then to watch Jurassic Park then and kind of go, that's not what they look like. Where did they?
Exactly. It's like, I don't know. They kind of just look like plucked chickens to me now when I see Jurassic Park.
Sorry, I just had a really odd image of like a sort of a dinosaur shearing pen, just some guy taking feathers out of a dinosaur, going, right, you're ready, Freddy, back off into the pen. I
Actually, I'm gonna doodle that right now. Thank you.
cannot believe that just entered my head. Oh, I don't know whether to
What's
be.
your favorite dinosaur, if I can ask?
I don't actually know if I've got a favorite. I don't actually know a great deal about dinosaurs. I mean, I did remember watching Walking with Dinosaurs when I was a kid, and obviously Jurassic Park, but we know that ain't true.
Yeah, actually, Walking with Dinosaurs is very outdated now.
Yeah, no, that because that came out in the turn of millennium actually, so many, 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 many moons ago now. Still have decent CGI, but that's that's a different point.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, we now know what colors some dinosaurs were. We actually have the technology to have an accurate, like, guess on that. Not I
Yeah.
guess more like fact, because let's not get into this. This is not about dinosaurs. I'll
Yeah,
just tell you about that.
we don't want to turn this into the new game show element of creative vibes. Fact versus theory. Dun 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 dun. Not yet. Not until season 4. But I tell you what, let's bring it back to the show and the fandom that's kind of brought us together, which is obviously My Little Pony. And I've got a few little questions I'd just like to ask you about that, which is just our usual standard questions. So don't worry, there is nothing scary here.
Okay, I'm
So
ready.
you're ready? Oh, perfect.
Yes, completely.
Oh, I really wish I had tense countdown music, but we don't have any. This is a shame. But I'll just
Play the
what?
Jeopardy theme, whatever.
Yeah, the of or Jaws or oof. There's so many different music choices. Oh no, no, hang on. I'm getting distracted now. I'm actually thinking of far too many soundtracks for movies now, and I'm just going. We can't use any of them. Copyright. YouTube hates that.
Someone who does pictures, I can argue with that.
I know. Well, YouTube is a strange site. I mean, it's for creators it can be certainly a bit of a pain. Put it that way. I think that's been a bit too kind. But I tell you what, going on to the ponies, let's start with our first question. What's your favorite character in the show?
Oh, my favorite character. Okay, let me think about that actually. Mm, I'll actually say Fluttershy.
Alrighty, so what do you like about Fluttershy?
Oh, well, she shares I'm in love with me, definitely. And at first, I didn't like her much. I thought she was underdeveloped. But someone who just enjoys to draw, she's very aesthetically pleasing to me. Like, drawing her, it just feels marvelous. She's very cute in design. And she's just a very, how to say it, calmed character. And I really appreciate that.
Well, that's fair enough. It's nice to see another Fluttershy fan because we've had one or two in the show, although not as many as some of the others actually. Fluttershy seems to be a little bit quieter, but it's nice to see more fans of Fluttershy, and as an artist, it's nice to see that that's part of the reason why you enjoy her, just because drawing her is a nice act. You enjoy drawing her.
Yeah. Oh, also, fun fact: the Spainnet dub for MLP once mistakenly called her Flora Shy.
Fl- Fluttershy, oh hell, was she trying to avoid the butter? Just oh good lord, Fluttershy. That is why you've got to love foreign dubs sometimes. They just give you little gems like that.
Well, I just sent you a doodle of a dinosaur getting plugged. If we can just quickly say that I actually stay true to my word.
So we'll go on to favorite episodes.
Favorite episode? Oh wow! Actually, the season finale that just happened. I really, really enjoyed that.
Well, I'm drawing on something. I know that when this comes out, it'll obviously be in 2017 and so on, because as usual, we record far in advance. I haven't seen the finale yet, so don't give me any spoilers.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
No, no, don't worry. Listen, the only thing I've been told is the fact that the finale seems to be uniformly liked by everyone, which is good. So I'm looking forward to getting to it. I'm only a couple of episodes behind, but I will get up there eventually.
I've been
Fast.
watching with a friend from Vancouver, and he was like, he doesn't he doesn't watch MLP and he doesn't really enjoy it that much. But we watched the finale together. He was like, "Whoa, that's really good writing."
Ooh. Well, heck, if it's impressing those who aren't necessarily normally fans of the show, then heck, it's got to be pretty high quality. I shall definitely look forward to watching it.
What kind of brony are you?
And what types are there? I'm not sure. I don't know what kind of brony I am.
One that doesn't watch the show, definitely.
And I do watch the show. I'm just a bit slow. Give me a break.
I'm catching up, and I don't even consider myself a brony. There you go.
And I'm doing. Yeah, I will admit it is a bit embarrassing that the non-brony has watched more of season 6 than the brony. So
Shame
yeah,
on you, Carl.
I know it's a shame. I should probably shave my mane in disgust and shame at my inability to watch the show properly. Because the thing is that I am terrible at watching TV programs at times. Because I think, oh, I've caught up, and then things get in the way, and I forget about it, and I'm useless. Please forgive me, fans. Please. But I tell you what, talking about the show, how did you actually become a fan of My Little Pony?
Okay, I was home alone during a storm, and I was saying, "Hey, what's on TV?" It was 2011 actually, I think. Um, this episode comes up. I really don't remember what episode it was. But I just remember seeing Riley. She was the first pony I got to see. Like, this actually looks extremely good. Is it good? I just kind of kept watching, and then I heard my mom actually arrive home, and I changed the TV program. I was like, she can't know about this. But like sometime later, like maybe a lot of time, I don't really remember how much happened. I stumbled upon some Brony music, and I'm like, they make the show seem more interesting than what I got to see. I gave a try to the first 3 episodes with my sister, and we just kind of really enjoyed it. So then we started watching it together, and near the end of season 1, we kind of just told parents like, "Hey, this show's really good. Want to watch it with us?" And they were like, "Nah," but still was a show that my sister and I will always enjoy, at least until recently, because now she's at university and she has no time for it.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. But still, at least you were able to discover the show and begin to savor the intricacies of the fandom. Because one thing I will definitely say is that the fandom makes the show. In terms of the show is incredibly enjoyable, and despite the fact I've not watched part of the season, I do really enjoy it. But the seeing how people like yourself and other creators that I've interviewed, and just everyone in the community, whether it's artists who are just starting out, major musicians, VAs, talk show hosts, the whole lot, and just seeing this ream of talent come together, just because they have this much passion for a show about talking ponies is a really beautiful thing. I find it incredibly inspiring, at least to myself.
When I first watched the show, I felt a very Foster Him for Imaginary Friends charm, and I wasn't surprised when I googled who made it.
Oh yeah,
I was like, "Oh, so it's Lauren Foss. This must be good."
that is the badge of honor. If Lauren Foss is involved, she is our goddess. It is good. That is it. No questions asked. But I tell you what, I think we're actually getting to the point where we need to sort of wrap up the interview. So, believe it or not, well done, Krofty. You've made it to the end of a Creative Vibes interview.
Did I?
You did. Listen, I told you it'd be painless.
Okay. Yeah, completely. Except for the fact that we plucked a dinosaur. That's very painful.
The dinosaur didn't bite much. You just plucked his feathers a wee bit. That's fine. But I'll tell you what, my final question, as always, is, well, firstly, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been great having you on. But our final question is, where can we send our fans to see your work? And also, actually, once your commission queue is free, to get a few more commissions off you.
Okay, I can show you my DeviantArt and my Tumblr links. I wouldn't recommend going to my Fur Affinity because you won't completely find PG stuff over there.
Of no worries. Well, what we'll do is we'll put all the links to his sites into the description below, and if you want to see the NSFW stuff, discretion, adults only, you can go to that as well. And if you like what you see, give him a commission, give him a wee call. Just don't call him Tyandaga, for goodness sake. If this is just a PA, this is what this episode is about. PA, Krofty Fennec is not Tyandaga. Boom. There.
Thank you.
Midnight Scribe has declared it. It is true. But we will wrap up the show there. My thanks to Krofty Fennec for being on the show. My thanks to you guys for watching. And if you will get in contact with us here at the Creative Vibe Studio, well, we have a ton of ways you can do that. We have our Facebook page at the Highland Bronies. We have our YouTube channel where you're watching this video right now. We also have our email address, highlandbronies@hotmail.com. We have what do we have? Tumblr, Twitter. Just search Highland Bronies. We are taking over the planet slowly, very, very, very slowly. But thank you all so much for watching. We will see you soon, and the last word from Midnight Scribe is, as always, please subscribe.